Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Cyttorak, who happens to be the members pick of the month. Now he was mentioned for the very first time in Strange Tales, issue number 124, that was released in September of 1964. But his image or likeness was first displayed in Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, Volume 1, issue number 44, that was released in August of 1992. He's also gone by other titles, such as Cyttorak the Destroyer and Ruler of the Crimson Cosmos. And he has variable height and weight, although he has been portrayed in basically two different forms, one of them being a human-looking godlike form, and the other being a red-toned demonic type form. Now, to dive right into it, Cyttorak is ridiculously powerful. And don't get at me for this, but he is arguably the most powerful magical being in all of the Marvel multiverse. I personally feel that if Cyttorak really wanted to go all out and not be stopped, it would take something like the Living Tribunal or even the One Above All to really truly stop him. The only reason I didn't mention the One Below All is the fact that Mephisto actually pointed out at one time that he thought Cyttorak was the closest candidate to being the one true Satan. If that helps put it in perspective for you. I won't even go through the motions of going over his strength, durability, speed, etc. Of course, all his typical stats are completely off the charts. And it's noted that while he's in his Crimson Cosmos, which is his own dimension, he's virtually omnipotent. Now, Cyttorak is mostly known for giving a very small fraction of his power to the Unstoppable Juggernaut, who himself is one of the strongest mortal beings in the Marvel Universe, being comparable in strength to heavy hitters like the Hulk. But what may be lesser known to some people is that he's also the source of energy for some very powerful spells cast by big-name sorcerers in the Marvel Universe. Individuals like Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, Dormammu, Zom, Umar the Unrelenting, and even Scarlett Witch draw upon the Crimson Cosmos or Cyttorak himself. Some of these mentioned spells include the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, the Scarlet Sphere of Cyttorak, the Crimson Shields of Cyttorak, the Crimson Crystals of Cyttorak, and the Cage of Cyttorak, among many others. A short list of some of the cosmic entities that wouldn't be able to handle all of his power include beings like Despair, Nightmare, Eternity, Galactus, and Mephisto. Even the powerful Vishanti are leery of angering him, and it's been noted that the Phoenix Force empowered magic, as well as Colossus imbued with 1/5 of the Phoenix Force, wasn't even enough for Cyttorak to sniff at. He banishing them out of his presence with a mere wave of his hand. Now, just to drive it home a little bit more, Oblivion himself was unable to completely overcome the Juggernaut's durability, being unable to kill or erase him due to the fraction of the Juggernaut's power that he receives from Cyttorak. And mind you, this is within Oblivion's own realm. So Cyttorak has a very mysterious origin, but we do know that he was one of the Principalities, which were magical entities of almost endless magical power. We also know that, as demons do, he once accepted worship on Earth. But one day, for unknown reasons, he was banished to an outer dimension known as the Crimson Cosmos, which he was completely sovereign over. Now, around a millennia ago, Cyttorak took part in the Attessence, which was a bet between himself and 8 other very powerful Principality beings, including Watum, Valtor, Balthak, Farala, Ikan, Krakan, and Ragador. They wanted to see who was the most powerful of them, and so they came up with a plan to give a small fraction of their power to 8 different human avatars, and these beings were supposed to fight in honor of their benefactor. To transfer their power to the people, they each put an item in a temple that was set up for people to find. Once a being touched these magical artifacts, they would be transformed into what's called an Exemplar, which was just a fancy title for their avatar. Cain Marko would become the first Exemplar after touching the Crimson Gem in a temple in Korea to become the Unstoppable Juggernaut. It would also be noted that after everything was said and done, Cyttorak's avatar would prove to be the true winner of the wager. After this point, Cyttorak would go on to play a major role in many different Marvel storylines, not only being a key player in Juggernaut's life, but also doing little things like trying to recruit Doctor Strange. His displeasure with Cain Marko Juggernaut would also reach a head during the Fear Itself storyline, taking his power back from Cain after discovering that he had forsaken him for the power of Kuurth, Cain becoming one of the serpents worthy as the Breaker of Stone. During this brief period is when Cyttorak would temporarily give his power to Colossus. Cyttorak was actually very impressed with the display of power and destruction that his new avatar wreaked. Matter of fact, he actually did not want to release Colossus from this binding, despite Colossus and his sister Magic asking him to free him. But after the siblings would pull off several tactics and jump through some literal dimensional hoops, Colossus would be freed from this power, which would lead to Cyttorak sending his Crimson Gem back to a temple in Thailand on Earth. This artifact would magically draw various people to it, but the first one to claim this prize would be the living Monolith, who would briefly become the huge new Juggernaut. But ultimately, this immense crimson power would land back in the hands of Cain Marko, who would once again become the Juggernaut and possess even more power than he had before. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Cyttorak a rating of 10. Which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.